Welcome, everybody, to another episode of GlideChat. My name is Mike Lombardo, and with me today is Laurence Tindall, hardware asset management expert at GlideFast Consulting. Hey, Laurence.
Hey Mike, how's it going? Thanks for inviting me to this call. I'm excited to be on today.
So, Laurence, I'm curious, how did you get into the hardware asset management space?
So that's a really good question, actually, Mike. So before I got into the hardware asset management space, I was actually in video production. So I was making music videos in London. I was doing that when I was 16. I absolutely loved it, right? So I had like a little mini DV camera, for those of you that remember the tape cameras,
Yep.
right? I was
Yep.
doing music videos back then. I absolutely loved that. So, I was naturally interested in the broadcast world, video production. So, there was a job opportunity to go and work out in the Middle East, to go and work for a TV channel,
Wow.
very, very popular TV channel in the Middle East. Um, so I got an opportunity to go work there in the IT department to go and look after their assets. Basically, it was like an inventory role. So I was like, I've never really done this before, but hey, maybe it'll turn into something good, right? And at that point, I had those misconceptions of, people that work in IT, you kind of think like,
Yeah.
they're not nerds, but you kind of think,
Yeah.
wow, like some dude in his basement typing on the keyboard, right?
Yeah.
But then when I actually got into it, I was like, no, this is actually cool. This is where the cool kids hang out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, went out to Qatar, flew out there, um, and then managed to get the position working at the TV channel. Absolutely loved it, right? They had tens of thousands of assets, and they actually had ServiceNow. And at that point, I didn't know what ServiceNow was. I took one look at it with this guy, and I said, whoa, what's this application? Like, I'm instantly hooked to it. Everything's so simple. You click a button, you get an email. I'm like,
I know.
I've never seen anything like this before. This experience, it reminds me of like a mobile phone app, right? How easy it is to use. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is work. Like,
I know.
absolutely loved it. So I got hooked on that. I was doing the
Yeah.
asset management there for about 3 years. And after about 6 months to a year in that role, um, my manager at the time was like, let's put you into something else at the company, right? Because I kept coming up with all these ideas, right? We can modify this field, we can add these forms, do these workflows. So then after doing the inventory, the hands-on like scanning of assets, logging them, I then went into a business systems analyst role where I was working on workflows, adding new features, basically just increasing the ROI of the platform and just making it fun for everyone to work on the platform. And so
Yeah.
that's basically how I got into it. And then, yeah.
That's cool. You know what's funny is when you're saying like, "Wow, this is just like a mobile app on my phone," and then it
Yeah.
starts to like, when it's similar to me, I was on a help desk,
Hmm.
and when I got exposed to ServiceNow, I was kind of just like, wait, why isn't everything like this? Why
Yeah.
is work so like old and sluggish? And
Hmm.
it's even when I got exposed to ServiceNow, it was like Aspen release, so it was like
Hmm.
very early on in
Hmm.
ServiceNow's journey. We just got San Diego, our hands on San Diego publicly today, right? So it was early in the journey, but still, like you could just see the difference. Even way back then, it's like, wow, this is what work should be like.
Oh, 100%. And like similar to your story, I remember just first getting in there and you're just dreaming of all these modules. Like, where's this? Where's that? And then all of
Yeah,
a sudden you're like a raving like fan, right? You're telling other teams, like you're telling the marketing
yeah,
team, you're telling HR, finance, hey,
yeah.
there's this app we use. So easy. We'll build you a table. We'll get you in it. And once people are in
People
it,
don't.
it's like they're
I
hooked.
know,
Like for
I know.
me, you'd think I work for ServiceNow, but I don't. But the way I talk
Yeah,
about it, it's like,
yeah.
well, you got to use it.
It was hard to get other teams involved. Like, just I'm thinking back
Hmm.
to like when I first started, and even when I got into the consultant world and working with GlideFast, it was hard to get other teams like, listen, this is not just an
Hmm.
application. This is much bigger. And I feel like those tides have turned, like where it's just
Hmm.
like companies are, at the CEO level, at the highest levels,
Yeah.
companies are like strategic. This is our strategic workflow platform, right?
Exactly. Like you
Yeah,
said back in the day, it was more of the IT department saying, "We've seen this tool. Can we have
yeah,
it, please?" But now it's
yeah,
kind of like the CEOs and the CFOs and the CTOs saying, "This is the
yeah,
tool we're using, guys," and then everyone just says, "Oh, thank you."
yeah,
Yeah. It's kind
yeah.
of like lunch in the office, right? And we're picking what to get, and we get the best stuff. So
Yep, that's right. So I know, obviously, hardware asset management's a huge passion for you,
Hmm.
and I know you do a lot of training with your ITAM Institute. And so, tell me about a little bit about your ham journey. So I know you started off, like you said, in Qatar at that TV studio,
Hmm.
um, and then where did you go from there?
So from there, I basically got a hardware asset management position working for like a Cisco partner, basically. So
Mhm.
I was working for Cisco, but through a partner. And what we were
Yep,
doing is working with Cisco clients on their asset management platforms and their data and stuff like that. So I worked for that company for a few years, worked for those guys, and then I got an internal position with them as a product manager. So I was actually helping them build out their asset management application for a new release we're working on. And that was super exciting, right? To build a platform from scratch, right? We got to work
yeah,
with the database with nothing in it, got to build the UI, got to work with
hmm
awesome developers. Absolutely love that. It was a great journey. And then, from that, I then got an opportunity to go work at Sharewell, which has now been acquired by Avanti, but it was an IT service management application, very, very similar
yep,
to ServiceNow.
yep.
So I worked with those guys. I was working into the ITSM modules like change, incident, but I was also working a lot on the asset management features for them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, I feel like hardware asset management has really, and obviously with ServiceNow's release of hardware asset management pro and
Hmm.
putting way more focus onto it. But I think the pandemic and COVID contributed a ton to hardware
Hmm.
asset management processes, because a lot of our customers, a lot of organizations out there, all of a sudden went from fully on site or 90%
Hmm.
on site to almost fully remote, right? So they had to distribute all these different laptops and equipment. And I heard some organizations just go, "Oh my God, we just handed out millions of dollars of equipment,
Yeah.
and we don't know who has it, how we pay, different departments are paying for
Uh-huh.
stuff." So I really think that shined a light, and
Hmm.
really, you hear the stories of, like, when a security breach happens, that's when a
Hmm.
security company says, "Oh, we need a better security
Hmm.
process," right? So it was like that. I feel like the pandemic really kind of shined a light on how crucial hardware asset management processes are.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, and it really exposed organizations that had immature hardware asset management practices, right? Like I
Yeah,
remember seeing companies, big Fortune 500 companies, putting up posters, fill in your name and the serial number and the
yeah,
asset tag that you're
yeah.
taking home. It's like, what? Like,
I know.
yeah, mind blown. Like, where's your
It,
service now? Where's you like having this automated or having all the checks and balances in order, So.
and asset management, right, is, talk about a cost saver. And just plug in, like, if you can just even plug the leaks of
Mhm.
asset management as a whole, right? And I think some people don't understand this, and this is my perspective of it. And you tell me yours, or tell me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
I think with both software and hardware, but let's talk about hardware for a second, right?
Mhm.
With hardware asset management, you have organizations with different departments going out and buying whatever they want, right? If they want a new
Mhm.
laptop, they just go buy it with a credit
Like
card.
petty cash.
Their
Yeah.
budget. Yeah, pay right, instead of going through IT that has a set maybe image of laptops or a model
Mhm.
of laptops that's
Mhm.
pre-approved, cost effective. Maybe they have a bulk order agreement, right? And the same
Mhm.
thing with software, right? Where, hey, and I've even seen it a couple times here at GlideFast, where we're like, hey, we got to get our stuff together. We had different teams kind of buying something that we already had licenses for,
Yep.
right? Double buying, double spending. That's why I think asset management is so
Mhm.
crucial to service now, because it's not, yes, you have to spend a little bit of money to have the application, but the
Mhm.
goal of that application is to reduce your overall spending,
Exactly.
reduce your overall overhead of
Yeah.
assets.
And increase your visibility too, right? Because if you don't know
Yep.
what you have, how can we make plans or how can we deploy stuff, right? And I've worked for
Yep.
companies too where it's just like that. We don't know what's in this country, what's there. But once we
Yeah.
have that visibility, we're able
Yeah.
to commingle all those assets and share them and save money. a lot of people forget that you actually, an organization does it properly, you make a lot of income in reverse, actually, like actual profit
Yeah.
in a way, because from a depreciation standpoint, let's say your
Oh,
like hardware asset, your hardware asset estate, let's say you're a big company with thousands of employees, right? You've got over, let's say $100 million worth of hardware, and all that hardware
yeah.
depreciates at, like I say, a straight line of 5 years, right? You
Yep.
divide that, that's 20 million bucks tax write off every year right there. And
Yeah,
if
I know.
you put that as a loss, I mean, damn, we could be making profit even if we're making a loss from the products and services. So,
And you can't guess, right? You can't guess at what's
mhm,
depreciating out there, and so if you don't have a hard inventory, so there you go. We
mhm.
just we just we just named like three reasons how we can
Oh,
save these millions of dollars per year.
100%.
We
And
should
that's the
charge them
beauty of like ServiceNow. It has all these modules and features. It's ready to go.
built,
You just give
ready
us
to
your
go.
data, we
Yep,
ingest it, let
yep,
it run its magic. You align your
yep.
process with the system. Bada bing, bada boom. We're ready to go to town with ham. So,
And all right, so I know we're running out of time here, but
mhm,
can you give me a couple best practices or maybe something to avoid for customers implementing Hardware Asset Management Pro? Because I know the rest of the platform, obviously, like implementing a best solution model and following best practices and avoiding bad practices
mhm,
are crucial to success of these implementations.
mhm.
So, could you give us maybe one piece of advice for a customer looking to implement Hardware Asset Management Pro?
So my best piece of advice would be to integrate. When you're looking at integrating ServiceNow with other applications, just look at like all the applications where you have data already in your
Yeah.
enterprise. So, for example, like SAP,
Yep.
you can integrate procurement data. You can look at like SECM for discovery data and stuff like
Yep.
that. So, yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel. And I think in the beauty too with Integration Hub now, there's so many pre-built what they call spokes. So it's like
Hmm.
pre-built integrations that can just plug right into different applications.
Hmm.
And a lot, in the past we've had to really build those from
Hmm.
scratch. So
Exactly.
I love the advancement and the introduction really in the last few releases of Integration
Hmm.
Hub. So all right,
Yeah.
Lawrence, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Mike. And check out the YouTube channel. We've got tons of videos. So have a look. All
Hey,
right.
like
Thank
and
you.
subscribe.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Thanks, Mike.